Well, you mentioned Monster Kody,
Yeah.
who recently passed away.
Right.
This was someone I've been wanting to interview forever.
Right.
In fact, I read his book like
Fascinating.
maybe 20-something years ago. It was probably the first gang member, biography that I ever read. He was mentioned. There's a book that was written about him, and then there was a book that he wrote himself.
Right.
I read both, and it almost started my journey of interviewing Crips and Bloods and so forth. And we've been trying to interview him for years. We never really came close because he was always like in and out of prison. We would talk to like his son or someone claiming to be his son or something, and it never ultimately happened. And then I found out that he was dead a few months ago. Did you actually know him?
No, I never really, no. I know of him like all of us do. We know of each other. To me, it's disrespectful to exploit the dead and then to speak on the dead the way these people do. You know what I'm saying? In our days, we didn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter if he was a Blood or Crip or whatever. The man is gone. So I find it disrespectful for anybody to speak fucked up on him like that. And I didn't know Nipsey.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it fucked up for people to, our own people to speak the way we speak toward each other. So it's just disrespectful, and it gets to me. I haven't gangbanged or said Paru in 19 years. You know what I'm saying? But right here, it hurts because here we are, we got a lot of brothers such as myself trying to get out of this situation. And we all know it's hard. Some of us take to selling drugs to try to get out of our situation. And then to our demise, we wind up back in prison. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are not strong enough to hold the cocaine in our hand without opening our hand and testing that shit or fucking with it. Here it is, 2021. And some of us experiencing trying to sell drugs to get the fuck out of where we at. And it's harder than what people think it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, Monster Kody had an interesting life.
He was something else.
From what I understand, at one point, he was cross-dressing. He was picked up as, dressed like a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having a conversation with someone about this, about how, when you have people who are gay or bisexual and they spend a lot of time in prison, you sometimes wonder whether, that's a place where they just feel comfortable, expressing that, because there's, it's a society where it's just men.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm like this, Vlad, with you and anybody. That man is gone. I really don't care what he was.
Yeah.
I knew, and I felt the same way he did when, he believed in what he was. And he represented what he was to the fullest. That's the only thing that I would call him. Now, if he was here, it could be something different. If I can get in front of the camera with him like this, say, man, you used to whoop whoop, or you did whoop whoop.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Well, I mean, this is not rumors. This is actual police reports and everything else like that.
It could be. But I know, and what I've heard from him is, and this is from some of the homies, that the dude was with the business.
Right. He was a Eight Tray, right?
Yeah. And you got a lot of guys out there that's like that. But at his age, trying to get out of certain, situations. But it's just not that easy.
Yeah, no, I think he was institutionalized so early. I mean, he started going in as a kid, and, like I said, I read the book, and it's been some years, but, he would get out, shoot some people, go back in, do whatever in prison, get out, shoot some more people, come back
prison
in.
Is it's the story of the majority of us.
Yeah.
That's our life.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Monster Kody.
Yes,
he was tied to the, to the Suge story, to the Tupac story somewhat. I mean, apparently there was an article I read a long time ago, it might have been like Vibe or whatever. He did an interview saying that he was locked up next to Suge, And Suge told him that the shooter, Tupac shooter, was Orlando. And he was, I think, the first person to actually go on record and actually say that.
Right.
And years later, all that was clearly revealed. I mean, although we're not sure if it was Orlando, it was clearly someone in that car.
We're sure.
Well, not exactly, because there was 4 people in the car, only one person still alive.
And only one person had the nerve to shoot. And that was the hitter. That's the one that was with the business. That's the one that didn't give a fuck, but I gotta get him. He was the I gotta get him guy. And his reputation preceded him. The little dude died doing what he do best, shooting at people.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, he died in a shootout.
Yeah.
Right. Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the story, and that's pretty much what's going to go down in history.
It's crazy.
Yeah.